Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. This is your host, Debbie. Welcome back to another episode of No Waco. I'm your host, Debbie, and today we have a very special guest here in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi guys, I'm John Owen. Was born and raised in Waco. Moved around for 2 years at Tennessee, a year in New Orleans, a year at North Texas. Was tired of moving, so thought I'd come back to Waco. Came back in summer of 2021, and here we are.
Yeah, and we found out that we actually went to school together and didn't even know it.
Yeah, Midway. I graduated in 2017, you in 2016, so real close, but school of 2,500 people, you really don't. Yeah, you don't see a lot of
never
people.
See it.
Yeah, never saw each other, but yeah, both grew up in Waco.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I'm so glad to have you here back in Waco. I'm glad you decided to join us again.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
And you've got to see a lot of development and also, getting to have that knowledge of other places and then bringing it back here. That's what we love. And now you're an entrepreneur and starting your own business. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so when I moved back, had a career in sports, but when I moved back, we decided to really want to do business. Grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, so that's kind of in my blood. My grandpa, my dad. So it's just like, hey, this is something that is a lot of fun, comes with risk and stuff, but it's also rewarding. So first year and a half, really, until the end of last year, or, a couple months ago, I worked with a group of entrepreneurs with different businesses that they had. So lettuce farm, it was called Waco Farms. It was hydroponic. So did that for a year.
And they do it at the farmer's market, right?
Yeah. So most of the business was HEB. But we'd also
love HEB.
Yeah, we'd also do farmers market and different stuff like that. So was able to get that, turn around and sell it. And then did a medical billing company. Wasn't as successful with that one. You have some swings and misses.
No, that's fun. Hey, we've had a few hospice care and other people come on the show before, so it's a field.
It's a great field, and there's the entrepreneurs have a lot of different successful businesses in the medical field. This one we were able to actually get it merged, and it turned out to be successful in that. And then did a couple different things. They own a couple different restaurants in town, so helped out with that. But then so we started looking at different areas that I could do businesses with them. And one of them was donuts, mini donuts. One of them had it in New York, and they're like, this is one of the best things I've ever had in my mouth before. So I figured out a way to do it, and so found out a way to do that. And so it's called Fireside Donuts, and we also have something called Jaloo Italian Ice. So kind of we have a hot and cold product.
I love that
desserts.
so much.
So we got all the sugar. If you want some sugar, we got you covered.
Yay! Is that your motto? Is that your?
I know, really.
Is that your tagline?
Businesses. But if we had it under one bucket, it's like, if we got sugar A to Z.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that's so cool. So why Fireside Donuts? Why the name?
Yeah. Kind of went back and forth on it a little bit. It was more kind of just made up on the whim when I was talking with someone, when I was wanting to try to figure out the logo and stuff. But really what Fireside is special about the donuts in Waco is we're the only hot donuts, made to order, as you can attest.
I had some.
Yeah. And so, there's a lot of great donut companies here in Waco. A lot of them aren't going to come right out of the oil. And so I think that's a really cool experience. And so I wanted to figure out a name that, sounded cozy, sounded warm. And so Fireside kind of was the one that, something a little classy. Jaloo is, our Italian ice company is a little more like bright, colorful. I got you. And so I wanted to kind of do the opposite of since I have a kid-friendly cold one, let's do a warm, classy one. So kind of, so we can cover all the bases.
I love that so much. Yeah. That's so cool. And so explain what you guys do. So you got a little machine, you make a little donut. Tell me all about it.
Yeah. So what's nice is you get to go inside, with Jaloo, you couldn't, kind of just.
It's food truck style.
Yeah, food truck. Yeah. So this is, we can go indoors. We can also be outdoors, which is nice. So a lot more versatile. But with Fireside, it's a lot more of an experience. With events, you can watch donuts come down and get made. Like I get, how I like to say it is, it's a donut lazy river.
Donut lazy river, so, my dream.
I know. So you get to see. Our machine's only 3 feet, so you could be on a 6-foot table, and I think that's what we've been on every time, and that's what works really well.
That's so cool.
You just need a normal plug-in. And what's really nice is you just get to watch it go down, and it takes like a minute to make from starting it to ending, and with toppings and in your bag, nice and warm, and we can make up to 1,000 mini donuts an hour, and so that means 200 people can get 5 donuts each.
Wow.
So good for large events. We've done weddings where they need entertainment. They're flipping the wedding and they're going out, and they need people that are now on the street because it's like a downtown wedding or something in Waco. So we did that a few times, and that's been really nice.
That's exciting.
So that they can have entertainment and something to watch and something to do like that. That we've we want to make it something fun. When people are doing special events, they want something memorable. They don't want to just cater a food platter or something. Like they want something that people leave and like, wow, what was that? Like
that was
something
cool.
unique. So I think that's what's neat about us is you get to watch it and watch your food get made, and you get to eat it.
Hey, that's the best part about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Behind the scenes, instead of how the sausage is made, it's how the donuts are made, right?
I know, exactly. Yeah, there's no secrets about our donuts. You get to see it all happen.
That's
in live
so
action.
cool. Well, I love that so much. Let's just take a break real fast and take a commercial break, and we'll be right back. And now for a word from our sponsors.
Welcome to One Star Rewind, a new podcast about those dreaded one-star reviews that every business owner hates to receive, but yet every customer loves to read. During this podcast, we will peel back that one-star review to better understand how it happened, when it happened, and what the business owner is doing after receiving that one-star review. This podcast will be about love, hate, and laughter. On One Star Rewind, we will meet with real business owners who will tell their stories and how they do rely on reviews for their business. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or download us at roguemedianetwork.com. Please subscribe, but only rate and review for not a one-star review. Join us each time for a new review and a new story.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Mike.
And we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
Frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about frozen heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, this is Sarah.
And I'm Carter.
And this is Some of Our Thoughts.
We're two Southern sommeliers, and we want to share everything we love and know about wine. We started hanging out during quarantine and cooking and drinking and listening to music, and we just thought this would be a great way to bring everything we know to you guys.
We will make wine knowledge and food pairings easy and approachable. So put on your favorite vinyl, grab your favorite glass of wine, tune into our show, and let's have some fun.
Wine and vinyl. So check us out on roguemedianetwork.com or wherever you get your favorite podcast. We'll be talking about a lot.
And now, back to the episode. And now we're back. So you just talked about how you're doing, you do pop-up events and weddings and that kind of stuff. So do you guys do bookings and private events, or how does that work?
Yeah, really. Yeah, we do any of those types of events. From the kid events for ice, Italian ice, or with donuts, classier and inside events. With the donuts, it does require a little bit more setup time because we actually have to heat up the oil, which takes around 45 minutes.
Wow.
It's a boiling hot oil, so it takes around, it's I think 400 degrees.
Wow. So be careful.
It is something that you have to be safe with. Where Italian ice, you just kind of pull up.
That's really cool.
So yeah, so with that, it requires a little bit more. We need more people for the donuts because it's more time involved compared to Italian ice, where you just pull up and start scooping. But yeah, any type of events, from parties to weddings to any type of event we're really open to. So Waco at Fireside Donuts .com or Waco at lovejaloo.com. Website is firesidedonuts.com.
Yeah, and so you've been doing this for a month, 2 months now, is what you were saying?
A couple months. For donuts, we actually bought the Italian Ice Company back in August.
Oh, wow. I was going to say, I think I had the Jaloo people actually come on the podcast before.
Yeah, Jacob. Jacob Peter.
I was going to say, I think I've had him come on.
We just bought it from Jacob. Great guy. Back over the summer.
Wow. Well, now I know. And you've been in
entrepreneurship
and working in Waco for quite a while. So what has it been like being a small business owner here in Waco?
Yeah. So I did the business with the owners, and I would say it's definitely a lot more easy and less stressful when you're working for entrepreneurs and actually being an entrepreneur. There's definitely more stress, and trying to figure out when there's slow seasons or different things like that. I'm just beginning, but it's definitely something. There's ups and downs, and I think that's the best way about entrepreneurship is you get to learn while doing it. There's nothing in the textbooks that could teach you when your freezer for our Italian ice went out my first month, and how are you going to fix that, and how are you going to do that before the ice melts? So it's just like those problems aren't those aren't taught in the classroom. It's more like, hey, you got to make the calls, you got to figure that out. Actually at our event this week, our machine had a little interesting. It took 10 minutes to work on it.
Yeah, I saw someone bring in a part or something.
Yeah. And we actually didn't need the part, but I was a little worried because I was like, there's one of our first events for the donuts, at least, and I'm like, hey, I really want to make a good impression. I'm kind of.
You made a great impression, good, just so you know.
So it's just like that type of different things that you aren't prepped for. It isn't something that gives you a heads up of like, hey, in 2 hours you're gonna have this part go out. Like you can prep for it. It happens, and you make a decision.
Yeah.
And so and then, at different parts, at the beginning, when you're starting a business, you don't have money for different employees. So a lot of times you're doing it on your own.
Doing it by yourself, yeah.
Yeah, and so you just have to be motivated to, work on your own. So there's ups and downs, and a lot of, fun parts is you get to, grow something from the ground up, and, the lessons that I get to learn in my mid-20s is something that I think will carry me a long way. So I'm excited for, what this adventure holds, and excited what business and kind of the ups and downs and the wins and losses will teach me.
Yeah. And I think it's really cool. And I know you kind of already mentioned this, but you're the only person in Waco that does this. Why do you think you're needed here in Waco? And why do you think right now is a great time to start doing it?
Yeah. So Hot Donuts, was it when I was just talking with the different owners, when we looked around, we were like, hey, there just really isn't something like this. And I think time is right now because, you can always plan and have a perfect plan in place, but then someone might come along and they kind of take up the market share. And I think this is something that if we get the brand right, we get the flavors right, we're still kind of toying around with like, hey, do we just want to do like the sugar toppings, or we want to do like drizzles, what type of flavors or seasonal flavors? And I think get to work out the kinks with that. I think that's the best way to do it, is working on fixing things and doing that while making money instead of just sitting there and like waiting to open it. So but yeah, I think it's just something that when the public gets to learn more about it, the donuts is going to be something really popular, whether it's at events or farmers markets or wherever it is, or down the line, hope to do a brick and mortar.
Ooh.
I think a drive-through will help, but I think a large part when I've been to these different companies, it's a really and with the events, it's a big attraction to watch the donuts. And I think that's just going to be something that yes, it's more than just food. It's an experience. It's something that people will be able to remember when they leave. And I think it's more than just, a couple donuts that you get to pop in your mouth.
Yeah, and I love that so much. And I love the idea that it's an experience. And I love what you're bringing to Waco. Yeah. In your words, what is something you would like to see more of in Waco?
Yeah. More Chinese food.
Well, yeah, that's.
But no, what I want to see more in Waco, that's a good question.
You can't just say Trader Joe's or Chinese food. That's fine.
Trader Joe's is honestly, this is definitely off
Not
the topic,
me
but
petitioning.
Trader Joe's, when I lived in Tennessee and then New Orleans and then DFW, they all had Trader Joe's.
Yes, I know, right?
And so I grew up with realer sisters, so I never really learned how to cook. But then Trader Joe's, like with their orange chicken,
and they have single person portions.
Yes, I definitely cooked the most, or really the only times when I had Trader Joe's. So my cooking has definitely gone down when I've moved to Waco, but I live by some people I know that can help me. So that definitely helps her. I eat their food. So yeah, Trader Joe's is number one actually on the top.
Number one on the list.
I think just more of. I think what's been fun is when I was growing up, when I traveled and was out of town, I would say like, hey, I'm from Waco, and they're like, oh, David Koresh.
Oh yeah.
And this is like, of course, but now like when I say it, it's like, oh, Baylor, or oh, Chip and Joe.
Yeah,
and, like,
Chip and
I think
Joe.
that's great. It's like now we have like positive traction. I think that's the most exciting part is now we got so much positive news and so many different developments, and we're on Webster Street right now, and there's actually a Webster development happening with a big shopping center. And
I texted you and said the big colorful building up the street from the silos, so can't miss it.
yeah. And so there's just so many different exciting things happening in Waco. I think that's the fun part is like it's not moving at snail's pace now. It's like, hey, I think each year you're gonna look up and like, oh, right now we have the visiting center or the welcome center and the Baylor basketball arena this year, and then I think we got hotels and more apartments and more restaurants. And I think it's just gonna be fun to see it grow and of course we grew up as kids here, and now it's gonna be fun to see it as we grow up to become adults and what it's all has become and will become.
Yeah, that's so cool. And it sounds like you've already been really well connected to the community, especially being here for a while. But has there been anybody that's helped you along this journey that you might want to shout out? Anybody that's really helped you do this? I always say you can shout out your mom, your dog, or your grandma. Yeah. All are fair.
Yeah, Dozier.
Yeah,
if
there you go.
Listening, my dog. I'm super grateful for family. I'm a big family guy. So I have my boss and my dad are my other co-owners. So kind of
shout out dad.
Yeah, you get to mix your work life and then also family life into this business, which is fun. So super grateful for my dad of helping me when I'm freaking out about different stuff. He kind of calms me down and get to work it through out together. And so
was he the one that brought you the part?
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah.
So, super grateful for, just different people along the way of, family, friends that have helped me as a kid and now as an adult. And, I grew up with friends that my high school friends are still like my friends today. And that's the fun part is like when you're in the same city with them, we all kind of went our separate ways and then came back recently. And I think that's the fun part is having lifelong friends that nothing beats, years long friendships. Even when you make new friends, there's nothing that beats the friends that you've had forever. So super grateful for all the people that have helped me become the person I am today.
Yeah.
And the business. That's
very much so such a shared experience. Like I was saying, like a lot of people always say they leave Waco, but then they end up coming back. The Waco suck, as everybody knows. But it's just so cool getting to see our communities grow together. And again, everybody always talks about how Waco is a small town, but it's still a big city. So it has that interesting dichotomy to it.
Yeah, what I always say to people is with Waco, you never, you always bump into someone, but it's not the same person. Like small towns, you're always going to meet Uncle Joe, whatever, at the food market, like like you're always gonna bump into different people. The longer that you're here, you're gonna always be like, oh, hey, how's it going? Or even if you really aren't friends with them, you're gonna still see them. And it's just a fun way to feel like you're not the only person. Like when I went to different cities, a lot of times you're never gonna see anybody that you even remotely know. And it's just even if you're not gonna talk with them, it's like, hey, at least I know this person like across the room or something like that. So it's a comforting feeling.
Yeah, very much so. Is there any advice you would like to give anybody that wants to start something or someone that has an entrepreneurial heart? Is there any advice you would like to give anybody?
Yeah. I think when I was in the sports industry, I think the same thing with this industry is, hey, just make the connections, reach out to people, just ask all the questions, and don't come in from a way of, hey, like I need this, but come in a way of like really wanting to learn about them.
Yeah.
People always love to talk about themselves. Find those connections, write the notes, find what, hey, this person really likes collecting foreign money. Finding the foreign money and putting in like a thank you note. Like doing the small things.
That's sweet.
Going a long way to figure out, what makes a person tick. Because then when you have those people in your corner, that goes a long way. So, there's, in any part of life, whether it's any industry you're in, there's going to be the roller coaster, and kind of just stay calm and let it, ride its course. And there's going to be, sad seasons and when you're really discouraged and feel like there's nowhere up. And there's going to be amazing seasons. And I think just staying grounded to remember, there's more than, success in business or failures in business. There's more than that doesn't define you. And I'm still working through that a little bit,
Yeah.
A lot of times it's hard to kind of define it's hard for me to a lot of times let work define me. And I mean, that defines a large part. You're working a lot, but it's also, you need to remember, how to treat people and love people and do stuff like that. So.
Well, I love that so much. And thank you so much for sharing your experience. And I feel like a lot of people have those same feelings. So it's very important to talk about it and hear from that entrepreneurial side, and just see what we can all do to better each other. And again, it's just the little things that matter. Well, go ahead, plug yourself, give us all the ways we can contact you, all the ways we can find you and find more information about you. Yeah.
Instagram, oh gosh, yeah. I was thinking the Jalou one. It's Jalou Waco, and then Instagram and Facebook for Fireside Donuts is just Fireside Donuts.
Easy peasy.
Easy. Website firesidedonuts.com, lovejalou.com for Jalou. And then phone number is 254-644-3240.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing that information with us today. Is there anything else you want to share with our listeners?
No, that's all.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Yes, it was so great talking with you. And I'm so glad we get to talk and just enjoy this time together.
Yeah, thanks, Debbie.
All right, thanks.
Yep.
Find us everywhere on all social media platforms, KNOW_Waco. Check us out at roguemedianetwork.com, and we're on YouTube under Rogue Media Network. Check out nowaco.com.